What's going on, everybody? Big deal here. Now, Pearl Abyss just dropped another update for Crimson Desert, which I'm sure everyone's excited for, because this proves that they're actually listening to us and they're fixing the game, which is great news for everyone who loves this game, because it's just going to continue to get better and better. In this video, I'm going to go over all the changes in the patch notes and go through and read them out for you for people who don't feel like reading them themselves. All right, now let's get into this. All right, these are patch notes version 1.01.00. It says, fellow Greymanes, here are the fixes and improvements that have been added in this patch. The major updates. This patch adds 5 summonable mounts. Now, I'm not going to go into the details and show you the mounts because there could be spoilers. So if you guys want to know which ones they are, you can come to the Steam page, click the show details tab, and it'll show you what the mounts are. But I won't be that guy. Another huge update is they decreased the loading times for fast travel and revival. No longer sitting on that loading screen for a long time. This works a lot better now. So hop in the game, check it out. They continue to make changes to controls as part of their ongoing efforts to improve the game's controls, because we all know the controls are pretty crappy still. They're definitely making big improvements. Now, a couple other things I really want to note: the stamina when flying. So now it drains a whole lot slower, which is really nice because it allows us to stay up in the air more and kind of give us an easier time exploring and traversing in the sky, which is really nice. They made an adjustment to cooking. I don't know if you guys cooked much before this, but it was kind of a pain. You had to select multiple things, make sure you picked the right material, blah, blah. Now it's just a button that says make now. This allows food and items to be cooked and crafted immediately in the menu once the recipe is selected. You no longer have to select ingredients separately, which is very big quality of life change for me. Makes making food a lot more enjoyable and quicker. They moved the private storage chest, which was put behind Carl at a certain point, back into Cliff's tent, which is nice because I kind of liked it in the tent anyway. So that's a good change as well. They also made it so for sprinting, you no longer have to keep pushing the button to sprint. You just press it once and you're in sprint mode, which is definitely nice. And as you can see here, they added new items to the game. So they added refinement tokens. Now, these items, equipment can be tempered up to stage 4 without consuming any additional materials. Refinement tokens can be obtained from certain main and faction quests. So what this means is you can upgrade your weapons and armor and such now without needing all the material. You can just use a refinement token, but this only works up until stage 4. To go to stage 5 and beyond, you still need the material. But this is a nice little perk that will allow us to upgrade our armor and such a little bit faster in the beginning. So it's pretty nice. I mean, there's a lot more, and we're going to get into that here in a second. But I just wanted to mention a few key things first. All right, now let's go line by line and see exactly what was added. So patch notes version 1.01.00. First bullet is they added the 5 mounts, which we spoke about. They added more chests throughout Highwell containing various materials. They added the refinement tokens. They added the new Make Now feature for cooking. They added a store all selected items function to move all items from your inventory to your private storage. And again, they relocated that private storage back inside Cliff's tent. They added wholesale grocery shop NPCs to regional farms in Highwell, and accordingly adjusted the quantity of certain knowledge entries. They improved shop item knowledge acquisition so that knowledge for all items sold in shops can now be learned at once, with the learning time set to 3 seconds. They improved locked doors so that an interaction button is displayed, allowing players to choose whether to use a key to open the door. So this is cool because if you walk into a locked door that maybe you didn't want to unlock, it don't automatically just burn your key. It gives you the option, which I have done plenty of times. So this is a really good change. They improve pets so that they do not stray excessively far during combat. I experienced this a lot. They fixed an issue where pets in certain situations were unable to loot during combat. They improved the wells so that 5 units of water can be obtained at the same time. They improved the mining knuckle drill so that items obtained from drilling can be collected immediately. They did the same thing with the chainsaw item for logging and lumber. Changed the crafting material for the Cuckoo Watcher pack. Improved Abyss cell drops from destroying disappearing rocks so that they can now be placed in the Cuckoo Pot. Improved the Knowledge Helm so that all obtainable knowledge visible on the screen can be acquired at once. Slightly increased the treasure detection range of the Pirate King's hat. Additional inventory expansion items obtained after reaching the maximum inventory expansion limit of 240 slots will now be granted as boxes containing crafting material and other items. Made the Abyss more convenient to play. I don't know what that means, but we will check it out later. Reduce the chance of pickpockets running into houses while fleeing. Increase the maximum camera distance in photo mode. Added a field of view adjustment feature and a camera shutter sound effect. As part of ongoing visual improvements, replaced select 2D visual assets to better align with the game's art direction. Fixed an issue where resting or waiting at beds, campfires, and similar objects were unavailable. Fixed an issue where Damien and Anka would become invisible after certain circumstances. Fixed an issue where money deposited into the bank could disappear when interest was refreshing under certain circumstances. Changed sealable items so that when they become lost, sealable items will become sealed, and items that cannot be sealed are registered as lost items. I'm not sure I understand that one, but it sounds okay. Improved the system so that leaving out a sealable item and then saving and reloading the game triggers either a sealed or lost item notification. Changed criminal acts to not decrease contribution before an NPC witnesses the act. Change the functionality of an item. To prevent spoilers, the changes are listed in the drop-down menu below. I'm not going to get into this. If you guys want to see it, come check it out for yourself. Controls and combat. They improved movement controls for both player characters and horse. Movement speed increased by holding down the running key. Movement speed increases by tapping the running key once. Movement speed for player characters and horses will no longer decrease, even if the running key is not held continuously. Please note that maintaining the full sprint state still requires periodic input of the sprint button. Improved usability of flight. They reduced the flight stamina consumption, fixed an issue where the character briefly stopped for a moment before moving with flight, improved flight so that equipped equipment can be used while flying, improved an issue where flight could not activate in certain situations. They changed the mechanic of aerial stab because there was an unintended issue that allowed the skill to be used repeatedly in midair. Aerial stab was adjusted so that it can still be used as a fun movement mechanic without disrupting all game balance. They also fixed an issue with it where it would not activate when Cliff had a different main weapon other than a one-handed sword. So now you can use any weapon for it. Requirements for aerial maneuvers and aerial swing have been reduced. They improved the interaction range to make interacting with NPCs more convenient, improve the player character's turning responsiveness during short distance movement. Keyboard and mouse. They fixed an issue where the blinding flash and spinning slash skill would be interrupted when continuously being inputted under certain conditions. Also on keyboard and mouse, improved so that items can be sold by double-clicking them in shops. Added weak point indicator effects for each element. Adjusted certain bosses and enemies so that they do not attack immediately after the player character dies and revives. Fixed an issue where Meteor Kick could cast in mid-air even when there was no reachable ground. Added an aim key guide for tool type items. Changed weapons so that they can now be drawn using an unsheathed weapon key, and improved the UI so that this key guide is displayed during combat. They fixed an issue where the stun gauge would sometimes reset instantly when a boss using a mount fell off it. Changed small and medium stoneback crabs to fall backwards when hit by the force palm ability. For keyboard and mouse, they improved inventory usability as follows. Change selecting and using items from mouse hover to mouse click, left click to select item in the inventory, right click or double click to use item. Reduced stamina consumption while sprinting and using crow wings. Fixed an issue where the knockback range of force repulsion was abnormally large. Made an adjustment so that the wheels of Desert Marauder Rustin can no longer be destroyed from beyond a certain distance. Fixed an issue where roll and evade could not be performed while using focus skill. Another keyboard and mouse change, they added a precise control feature for Axiom Force. Holding Q or the mouse back button while moving the mouse now allows objects to be moved more precisely. Improved objects so that they are easier to interact with. Improved the UI to display guide message when attempting to draw a weapon in location or states where weapons cannot be drawn. Now for the quest section, they improved the transition into liberation sequences so that it feels less abrupt while liberating a location. Personally, big fan of this. I felt like every time I liberated the area, it went to black and then people were just there and it was just very underwhelming. So interested to see how this one looks. They fixed an issue in the prologue quest, New Journey, where progression could be blocked if the player throws an object at Sebastian to attack him. They fixed an issue in Chapter 2 quest, Missing Companion, where the delivery target sometimes disappeared during the quest. They fixed an issue in Chapter 3 quest, Dance with the Devil, where destroying the totems would occasionally not reduce the totem count. They added additional guide prompts where guidance was previously lacking. UI fixes and improvements. They added a feature that allows the minimap to be fixed to north at the top. They added information in the skill menu showing stat increases for the next skill level. They added icons on the minimap to indicate the locations of keys and anvils. They improved the notification menu to allow checking quest challenges progress, accepted, completed, updated, reward information, and time details. The maximum number of stored notifications has also been increased to 2,000. I really like this change. Added an icon to the journal menu to indicate new quests. Improved the mini-map so that faction facilities are displayed when that particular faction's liberation gauge is shown. Improved the overall main screen notifications, including how long they are displayed and when they disappear. Improve the cooking crafting menu so that recipes of the same type, filling, satisfying, and hearty, are displayed as a single group. Improve the duo game so that a key guide for peeking is displayed during gameplay. Remove the whiteout effect during the retry loading sequence after death. Improve the knowledge menu UI so that both main categories and subcategories can be viewed at once. Change the key guide UI image for PlayStation controller, L3, R3 buttons, and Xbox controller, LS, RS buttons. Change the inventory UI so that when using pouch type items, use all is the option selected by default. Improve the text color of UI descriptions to appear brighter. Next, they adjusted some graphics and settings. They improved rendering stability and visual quality in low resolution environments or when upscaling is enabled. Improved the rendering of translucent materials such as hair, fur, and clothing when FSR, RR, DLSS-RR is enabled. PS5 added a fixed 4K output option to provide a sharper gameplay experience. When this option is enabled, the game will output at 4K resolution regardless of whether the display natively supports 4K, allowing for a sharper image. On the base PS5 in performance mode, enabling this option will allow you to upscale with FSR. This option is enabled by default and can be disabled. When disabled, the game will output according to the maximum resolution supported by the monitor. They fixed an issue where screen noise would increase during long gameplay sessions. Fixed an issue where displacement mapping was not applied correctly when DLSS-RR was enabled. In addition, the DLSS-RR preset has been changed from D to E improving overall visual quality and fixing an issue where texture animations such as waterfalls could stop playing. Performance and stability gameplay. Loading times have been reduced when traveling via abyss traces and when respawning after death. They fixed several stability, performance optimization, and crash issues across PC, console, and Mac. They fixed an issue where frame drops occurred during the battle against Crowcaller. For localization, they fixed the UI issue where the current quest objective could incorrectly display certain item descriptions instead. They fixed various localization errors and improved localization quality, game advice, etc. across all languages. For other, they added sound effects when certain animals eat meat. Finally, we have other fixes. They fixed an issue where certain interactions would not function when enhancing some tools. Fixed an issue in the Twisted Thicket Way Abyss where the Skybridge Gate could be opened without restoring the adjacent abyss. Improved cows not properly following during herding. Fixed an issue where greeting others while having a low bounty could trigger a crime. Fixed an issue where using nature's snare affected nearby NPCs. They fixed an issue where housing mode would close when pressing the drag button outdoors. Fixed an issue where falling into shallow water could occasionally cause the character to dive into an abnormal location. Fixed an issue where the effect of the energy drain abyss gear would not activate. Fixed an issue where unintended functionality was applied to the Constellation Helm. Fixed an issue where movement speed would briefly decrease before initiating gliding. Fixed an issue where the item would be put away when changing equipment via quick slot while equipment was already drawn. Fixed an issue where bows aiming was not possible in certain situations. Fixed an issue where using blinding flash finishers at the edge of the cliff would launch the character far away. Fixed an issue where some UI elements would overlap when displayed at the time under certain circumstances. Fixed an issue where attacking NPCs with trees was not considered a crime. Fixed various other in-game issues. For known issues, please check the notes below. All right, guys, and that's everything. If you're still with me, thank you, and congratulations for making it through this video. I appreciate y'all for sticking around. I got some more guides coming out this week, so look forward to it. But other than that, appreciate you for watching, and catch you on the next one.